why I go hunting and what I enjoy about it and what makes me keep coming back to it, what makes me drive all these kilometres, reloading the night before you have to leave. Hey guys, Bling Bling Bob here again. Welcome back for another chit chat. Just on the road, driving out to Walgett, and thought I might just have a talk about why I go hunting and what I enjoy about it and what makes me keep coming back to it, what makes me drive all these kilometres. And yeah, I recently had the opportunity to go on Australian Hunting podcast with Jason Selms, and I had a good conversation with him about it, and I thought, well, this is as good as opportunity as any to talk about why I do it for my own channel. So yeah, just crunching out the kilometres now, and I've just got out of Toowoomba, and I'm about 66 k's out of Millmerran, and I'm actually headed off to Lightning Ridge. I've got some mates who are out there camping for the weekend, and so I'm going to go meet up with them tonight, camp at Lightning Ridge. He's got his 2 young girls there and his wife, and I had another mate and his 3 kids were supposed to be there as well, but they had a family situation happen, and they've gone to the Central Coast in New South Wales. So I wasn't going to burn the opportunity to hang out with some mates from Dubbo, being I'm from Brisbane. So I'm just going to go out there and hang out with them for half the day on Saturday. Tomorrow Sunday, and then go out to Walgett, out to the property, and get into the hunting. So what makes me keep coming back, I guess, is man, it's like last night, madly rushing, packing everything, making sure you got the swag, got a pillow, got blankets, got a couple of clothes. You can always hunt without clothes. That's the least of my worries, to be honest, as long as you make sure you take your guns and your ammo. So I quickly jumped in the cupboard, you know, made sure I had enough ammo, which I sort of already knew because obviously I've been checking my stocks leading up to this anyway. Normally I do the mad rush. Someone posts on Facebook on one of the other pages about the old tale of reloading the night before you have to leave, and I've probably done that every single other trip, been up to 1:30 before doing a big drive the next day to have to, you know, drive for 8 hours, reloading till 1:30 in the morning because you don't have enough ammo. But this is the first time in a long time I've actually got more than enough ammo to do the trip. So, but it's just, I guess it's just so exciting. Nothing like getting the guns out the cupboard and know you're gonna go and hit up some vermin and get some foxes, and you know, obviously if you're lucky, get a pig. If you're really lucky, get a cat. I hate cats. My favourite thing to get, cats. And you know, and you do all these kilometres, and I don't know if you can see out the window, you can see you're just out of Toowoomba. As you drive out further and further, you know, it gets more barren or more crops, and you'll get to other areas and it's you know, it's really green, and there's, you know, all the crops are full, and as you drive through the terrain it can get wildly different. And when you've been driving out to your properties long enough, it's like you recognise where you are on the road just by things that are on the side of the road. Like, you know, I got this spot just out before Millmerran where the SSAA rifle range is. I call it the fake cattle grid, and it's all got all these little spots. I got my measures. I know, after this spot there's the car yard, and there's this spot and this spot, just little nicknames I've given all the little different locations, and sort of it's pretty rewarding driving past all those spots and knowing where you are on the highway. And as you get closer and closer, and you know, there's a windmill at the side there, and I just love that stuff. I love the drive. I don't love driving for 8 hours, but you find things to entertain yourself. And you know, normally if you've got a mate with you, I've barely ever got a mate with me in my car because I normally meet my mates from Dubbo out there. So I got like a lot of hours just sitting in the car, probably talking to myself and thinking in my head, and what do I need to do and what I want to buy, and I just can't wait to get out there. Like when you get out there and you pull your gun out the bag for the first time and put the bolt in and you put some rounds in it, you know, and nothing more satisfying than being on a property and being able to have bullets in the gun, you know, rounds in the gun, ammunition in the gun, and know you're not accidentally going to put a hole through your wall at home, or worried about a gun going off and neighbours. Like, when I'm at home, I don't put ammunition in the gun, obviously. I think that's a pretty stupid thing to do. But there's nothing more rewarding than being able to do it. And, you know, when you get out there, and if you've never been hunting, oh, I tell you what, it's one of the greatest things you can do. And the thrill of driving out for the first time, the thrill of the anticipation of getting something, because as soon as you fire that first round, and guaranteed you'll shoot that first round and you forgot to clean the bore or the barrel out, and you'll be like, oh, I forgot to clean it out, and you see the smoke of the burn oil coming out the barrel and the smell of that first cracked bullet. It's just such a fantastic and thrilling thing, and I guess that's what really gets me going out there. And, you know, obviously hanging out with your mates, this was actually the first time ever I'm actually going shooting on my own on this particular property, and I don't think it's going to be as rewarding. I'm still going to do it, obviously, because I got a new stock I want to have a crack out, and got a public holiday this Wednesday coming up for the Echo Day, and I was like, no, I've got to get out. I've got to get out of the city. I've got to go and do this. You know, it's like it's what makes me keep coming back. Like, I've got to get out there, because otherwise next thing it'll be Christmas, and you know, I'll have only been out once this year. So I just stuck at a stupid roadworks red light. It's just gone green, and you know, that's what keeps me going back and back. And I'm just going to take the time to actually do a fair bit of filming this time, and won't be annoying my mates with cameras or anything like that, so I can do whatever I want. And hopefully I'm going to catch up with a roo shooter out at Walgett, and we're going to go do some roo shooting. I'll do some off-siding for him and all that sort of stuff, so that should be pretty good fun. I've done that I think 2 other times, so I'm actually looking forward to that. And I guess, so what I wanted to talk about really is you can experience the thrill of going hunting if you've never been. You know, you got to go door knocking, you got to pick up the phone, you got to ring people. If people say it can't be done, all the properties are locked up, you can't get new properties, that's a lie. That's a lie. You just don't have the will to make it happen. If you have the will to make it happen, you'll make it happen. I've been shooting on this property at Walgett now for since I was 18. So what's that, like 18 years now I've been shooting on this property at Walgett. Admittedly, it's not my property, it's my mate's uncle's property, and you know, and I've had access to that for 18 years, and but I have gained access to 2 properties in the last 2 years with very little work, and it's easy to do. It's easy to do. You just got to have the willpower to get out there and go door knocking. I got access to a property way out west. It was a 1,700 kilometre drive. Most unsuccessful hunt I've ever been on. But you know what? Went out there with a good bunch of guys, and we did it. And all I did was pick up the phone and ring a few places. And to be honest, it was only really the second place I called, and he was like, yeah, no worries. So that was fantastic, you know, and we expected to see some really big pigs out there, but unfortunately 3 weeks before we got out there, a helicopter had been out there and shot something like 403 pigs, and it was also flooded, and we couldn't get to the areas where the pigs were. So, you know, there's all this, you can't predict this stuff. It doesn't happen. We planned the trip, I booked it like 3 months out, and never been back since. It's a long drive to go out that way, but then I was out at Stanthorpe, and yeah, just went out with the goal to get a property to shoot on. Just went out with the weekend with my missus, took my shotgun out there, and gained access to 42 acres. You know, like, not a lot of ground, but every time I go out there, take the shotgun, just take a torch, bolt it to the shotgun, and I got 14 rabbits on the first night. You know, I know it's not pig hunting, but it's hunting. I'm getting out there and doing it. Like, and to be honest, I've been lazy. I should go out, and I've got to get properties around sort of Texas or Gundawindi, places like that. And it's not that hard. You just got to show some commitment. And I'll tell you the number one thing: when you go into these places and trying to get access to these properties, don't look like a city slicker, B, a try-hard, wannabe assassin or military personnel or anything like that. You got to try and look like them. You got to assimilate with the people. They got to feel comfortable with you. There's a thing people say out in the country is don't ever wear a black hat. If you want to get a property, don't ever wear a black hat, because the people in the country, they believe that. They believe you never trust a person with a black hat. And is it right or wrong? I don't know. But that's the things that they don't trust a person with a black hat. So don't go out there with a black Akubra. Number one rule. And secondly, just wear some clothes. Don't rock up in footy shorts with your balls hanging out or something stupid. And don't drive up to properties with guns hanging out the window. Just go there, knock on a door, and just be polite and be nice and offer some services. I'm an office jerk. I don't have too many services, but I can offer labour hire. I can offer to help out in the sheep yards or anything. There's so much stuff you can do if you have a think about it. So look, get out there, get busy, and you too can get your own properties if you put your hand to the grind and go and do it. And don't be afraid to get out in the car and drive for further than 3 hours, because guaranteed, if you live in Brisbane, everything between Brisbane and Gundawindi, people drive that far every weekend. So you got to go past it. If you want good properties, go past it. Drive for 4 or 5 hours. Go door knocking. My brother recently, he had some mates. They went out to St. George, went door knocking around St. George, no good. They just decided to jump in the ute, drive for 100 kilometres and knock on the first door they came across. Property owner was on a quad bike, had a revolver hanging off his waist, which they were obviously slightly intimidated about. And the guy was like, mate, there's no pigs here, but you're more than welcome to have a look. There's a creek up the back. He drove them up the back, put them on a spot to camp on the creek, and within 15 minutes they'd smashed something like 6 pigs, all about 80 kilos. Success story. And this only happened 2 months ago. Like, you can do this. Just do it. Alright guys, that's it for now. I'm sorry about the terrible footage. Just got the GoPro stuck to the window. Probably got light shining in off the sun here and that. But look, don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty more tips and tricks. Got some reloading videos coming up, and got some other how-tos. If you look in the middle here of the screen somewhere down the bottom, there'll be a big subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. And please put some questions down the bottom and I'll try and get to you and give you some answers. Okay guys, that's it. Catch you later.